You will not make it. It's impossible. Nobody done before. It's very hard. Don't do it. Don't waste your time. These are the things that they told me before I moved to Australia. And now I'm going to tell you my experience. Boom, here I am, here in Australia. My dream came true. So, how this happened? So, first of all, why I left Italy? I wasn't happy with my life. I just was sick of living the same life day by day and nothing new. Like with the same people, about the same things, doing the same job, and living in the same house, and speaking the same language. And I was done with that life. I did that life for like too long. Have this ever happened to you in your life that you are kind of living exactly the same day every day and you feel sick of it? You just want to try to change something. Well, I didn't know what exactly I wanted to change, so I actually felt probably I need to change everything. And I thought, okay, I want to change house, job, change girlfriend, a city, a country, clothes, I want my hairstyle, a lifestyle. I want to change everything. You know, everybody knows, but you only live once. You borrow your body for a very limited time and you have the whole world for you. What are you gonna do? You want to do the same things every day? It's at one point of the movie Matrix where Trinity take Neo in the car and she wants to let him knows what is Matrix about. This is actually a movie, but doesn't matter. The life is a movie itself. And Neo start to realize that maybe it is not what he want to do, and so the car stop and say, look, you already know exactly where that road goes. You already know what is in there. That scene of that movie just came into my mind.
Fine.
Please, Neo, you have to trust me.
Why?
Because you have been down there, Neo. You know that road. You know exactly where it ends. And I know that's not where you want to be.
Yes, me too. My life is exactly like that. Already know where this road goes. I already know what I'm going to do today at work. I already know what I'm going to talk and who I'm going to talk with. I already know everything. I already know who is gonna be in the gym at that time, in that day. I already know what I'm gonna do. So, and then I had to choose in which country to move to. So I had four countries, I think, in my mind. One was Canada, Australia, Switzerland, and Norway. I want a country with a lot of job opportunities where English is the first language and not too close to my country, actually as far as possible from Italy. So Switzerland is too close to Italy. Norway is too close and is also cold weather. Canada is too cold. Boom, Australia was the best one. English, hot, job opportunities, and very far from Italy. I bought the ticket, airplane ticket, one way to Australia, Milan to Australia. And once you buy the ticket, you realize that that is gonna happen, and you also have a time frame where that is gonna happen. So you actually are going to move in order to reach that goal by that day. Okay, so it's quite very important to have a date in your mind, in your brain, so that you can start to work on it. Wow, I didn't know anything about Australia. I didn't know anyone in Australia, and also I wasn't really prepared for it. But that's, you are never prepared for something this big, to completely change your life and country. So what do? I needed the unknown. So oh my god. Stella is doing just in there. I actually moved to Australia without say anything to anyone in my country. Like my best friend didn't know, my brothers, to my family, to my colleagues. I just I fly to Sydney. Woo! So I arrived to Sydney. I took the luggage, and then I had no idea what to do, where to go, how to speak English. Where am I going to start from? And that's the point. That's exactly what I was looking for. The surprise, like the unknown, the have no idea of what to do. That's exactly what I was looking for. I was in a new country, a brand new person with a lot of things that I want to do, and here I was. So the first week I came to Australia, I had on my mind what I had to do, the first 5 things. One is, of course, get into the hostel. Second is open a TFN, the bank account, the SIM of the phone, and the Medicare card. And I actually did all of these things in the first 4-5 days to get ready for a new life. And once I had all of these documents done, I was like 5% ready for the new life. Now, there was a huge problem, which was the language. I couldn't say a bloody word in English. No? That's also the point. I was here to learn English as well. So that's part of the challenge. And I love to challenge myself, so I need to actually learn English. So suddenly you become a backpacker. It's unbelievable because as a backpacker, I learned heaps of things. Like, wow. You actually meet so many people by living in the hostels, and everybody share their own experience. I traveled in this place, I went in this country, and so your mind start to open like to a new world. Most of backpackers come here with a working holiday visa, which I did the same, and then they stay like 1, 2 or 3 years. It depends on their nationality and their visa status. So what is a backpacker? A backpacker, you have your bag in your bag, and then you start to go, you move, you go there, and you have not even idea where to go, but doesn't matter. That's not important. You just go. So I start on Sydney, but I found a job after 4 days, even I couldn't say a word in English. And first day was 15 hours of work without break, without food, and trial, so it was for free. The second day, I wasn't there. So I actually realized, wait, hang on, I didn't move to Australia to live this. Like, no, that's not what I was looking for. And I wasn't in the process of giving up, but I realized that that wasn't what I expected and what I want to do. So I choose straight away. Second day, I shouldn't be in there at all. So actually Sydney has been one of the worst experience of my life, but I'm extremely thankful for that because I grew, I learned, I understood a lot of things in there. I thought when I moved to Sydney, I thought I was going to stay there forever, but after 2 weeks, I left. Boom! I arrived to Melbourne, and Melbourne was amazing. You know, that day was cold, winter, raining, dark, night, but I was happy. I don't know why. So as soon as I stepped my first step in Melbourne, I realized that was the place for me. And I didn't want to take a taxi because I just want to enjoy. Even it was cold, dark and night, I just want to enjoy the city. I start to have this feeling between me and Melbourne, the river, the casino. I walk and then I arrive to the hostel. The hostel was much different than the one in Sydney. The room in the hostel was super good, not like the one in Sydney. It was even cheaper than the one in Sydney. What? I don't know. After 4 months, I want to change again because I want to see, I was in here to have experience, to travel, to discover, to see, to learn, to grow, to experience as many things as possible. Then I bought a ticket again to Perth. I moved to Perth and then I changed like 25 jobs and my visa expired. So I moved to Thailand. I stayed in Thailand for 1 year and then I thought, okay, I want to go back to Australia again. I want to have a sponsor. Okay, let's talk about sponsor very quickly. Sponsor is actually a path between you, the employer, and the government, okay? Now, it's extremely hard to get a sponsor because you have to have a lot of requirement. Once you have all the requirement, you can get the sponsor, but it's not easy. Most of the time, you have to move in a country town where there is absolutely nothing, with a very low population, where it's not fun. Got a sponsor when I was in Thailand, in Bangkok. Population of Bangkok is like 20 million people. And then I moved in Australia with a sponsor in a country town with a population of 1,500 people. So I moved from 20 million people to 1,500 people. I'm willing to do anything in order to reach my dreams. So actually the path was that I had to work in a restaurant in the middle of nothing in a country town with 1,500 people where the average age is 70 years old and when the closest gym is 30 km away from you. Wow. All of this by yourself for between 4 to 5 months, years. Yeah, you heard me. So that was probably one of the hardest part of my life. Another thing, to get a sponsor, you need to be very qualified on the position that you are applying for. Okay, you need to be a kind of the Ronaldo of that position. Otherwise, you wouldn't get the sponsor. Most of the time, it's like this. So when you move to Australia, you always have 2 words in your mind forever. And every day you will say these 2 words. One is visa and one is farm. The 2 things are connected because the government will allow you to get another year of visa if you work in the farm. I personally, probably I am the first and only person, immigrant to move to Australia and never been working in a farm because I actually had already a very strong CV and profile and background that I didn't actually need to do any farm at all. So I already had actually most of the requirement in order to get a sponsor, so I didn't want to waste my time in the farm. Now, few good things and few bad things about Australia as immigrants, okay? So the first one is money. The lowest salary according to the government, firework, blah blah blah, is $19.49. Not too bad per hour, okay? And that means that is $740 per week. The second good thing about Australia is the opportunities. Like, is a population of 25 million people in here. So the country is extremely big. It's bigger than Europe, I think. And it's a countless job opportunities every day, everywhere. Especially in the hospitality or in the farm industries. Okay, these are the main industries where most of backpacker or immigrants going to work. The weather is it's amazing because mostly it's always pretty much hot. It's like to be summer or like 8 months per year. And another thing in Australia, mostly never rain. Like yes, in Melbourne there are few places where it's always rain, but not the rest of the country almost never rain, and that's kind of actually a problem for the farm and for the government because that is affect all the economy and also the farm. It's very easy to find a job in Australia, okay? Especially if you have a skills, if you are a hard worker, and if you can speak English, then pretty much you will find a job. There is a very huge difference between the cities and the country town, okay? Look, there are actually kind of two different countries because in the cities there is a huge population, like million of people, where the competition is very high and you have to work very hard. 80 hours per week, stuff like that. And it's not easy. And also the price, the cost of life is extremely high. The rent is high in the cities, but in the country town it's much easier. It's easier even to find a job because there is less competition. Another thing, good thing about Australia is it's very safe. Like girls can go outside by themselves and come back at home alive. So that's kind of interesting. And also there is, it's very safe on the road and there is no corruption. Now, the bad thing about Australia, one is the language. If your English is not your first language, okay, that is gonna be a huge problem at the beginning because even the Australian slang is very crazy to get used to. Another thing is the visa, okay, that's probably the worst one because you you will understand. Another bad thing is the probably because I am a chef, I am Italian, I have to say that food. They don't have a strong culture of food. There is no a very famous Australian food like Thai cuisine or like Japanese food or like Italian food, okay, or French. No, it's not like that. In actually, it's a mix of a lot of different cuisine from everywhere in the world. But actually, Australia itself doesn't have a strong cuisine. Now, try to stay in Australia. From my point of view, is hard as hell. You have to go through a lot of problems, migration stuff, an infinity amount of documents that you have to provide. You need to also pass the English test, which is extremely hard. Even a native English speaker cannot pass that test. It's super hard, and you have to have all those requirements. If you miss one requirement, you are not allowed to stay in here. So you need to be like Ronaldo. Now try to stay here and be willing to go through all the process of visas and immigration. It's like, listen, it's like to climb the Everest mountain with your bare hands, with your hands handcuffed behind your back, naked, and with Mike Tyson that punch you for each step that you take. How did I make it? I had a determination of a hungry lion. That's exactly the word. I was hungry. I need to make it. Period. I didn't want to have a plan B to distract me on my plan A. Okay? I just want to have to reach my goals and live my dreams. No matter how much requirements I had to have, I was willing to do it. Anything in order to be and stay in here. Okay? In my job, I was working 70, 80 hours per week, and then in my days off, I was going to try other jobs, even for free most of the times, in order to have more possibility to stay in here. While others people were going to dance or to the pub or have fun in their day off, I was going to work for free in other restaurants. Why? Because I was determined and I knew I was going to make it, and this is how I did. Now there are a few things that you have to keep in consideration. I'm telling you my own experience, what I've been through, okay? This is only few things that I've been through. I had to face loneliness, sleep exploitation, failures, trust, doubts, the English, the language. I had to face immigration, competition, lack of understanding, the rules, the motivation, fear, patience, lost, discrimination, false promises, laws, bills, adaptation, bad people, depression, pain, stress, cheating, judgments, and all of these alone, and all of these for years. not weeks, years. So you need to be very hungry, crazy. You need to be determined. You have to have requirements. You have to have skills. I made it, and this is why I made it. Now, once you make it, your life is gonna change forever. I've got my PR, my permanent visa, and since then my life completely changed. You know, I bought 2 cars, one bike, one motorbike. I'm going on a holiday like 3 months per year. I went last year. I went 3 times, 1 month each time in overseas. I bought a big television. The quality of my life really changed, and especially, you know, all of these experiences, an atomic bomb in your mind, in your brain, in your experience. Like, it's unbelievable. It's like a school of life. People, work, challenge, improvement, motivation, loneliness. All of these things just make you grow and become a stronger and better person with more knowledge. So my advice to you is, if you want to move to Australia, get a working holiday visa if you can. Otherwise, do not come, because with others visa doesn't make any sense. Student visa doesn't make any sense. Working holiday visa is great, it's super good. You don't have any obligation on it. You just have to do whatever you like, and you have a lot of freedom. Boom, this was my experience in Australia. I gave you all the information, and I hope you enjoy. If you like, just put a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. So just like Steve Jobs says, be hungry, be crazy. Peace.